Right. Thank you. Let's get started. So today, I what I wanted to discuss is, despite all the conversations that are going across multiple YouTube channels or posts and things like that, that um, testers can do a lot of things. People are talking about agile DevOps, building a career in automation and a lot of things like that. But still, I keep getting questions. Okay, does testing have a future? Okay, that's a question that I keep getting. Okay, what is the career progression? I am starting today as a fresher. So, as a fresher in testing, so what does that career progression mean for me? Is a question that I keep getting. So, I wanted to get your perspectives on that. What does it mean when we talk about career progression in testing? What does it mean to you guys? Anyone?
So just I like to pitch in here.
Please go ahead.
So by career progression means like for me it means whether I am learning new things day by day, right? What skill set I had to say like if I talk on a yearly basis, what skill set I had a year ago, have I improved upon that, right? Am I learning daily? If not daily, am I learning weekly? Like whether my learning is not, you can say, impacted by the current project work which I'm doing, right? I think these are the three things which matter to me. And when we say career progression, I think sometimes we say that I'm not working on this thing in my office day-to-day work, right? So it would be possible for me to switch to a different field, or not switching, at least learning a thing which is not in my day job, right? So I think if we are doing all these things, like we are improving our skill set, we are learning daily. If not daily, at least we have a set goal. So if we are doing all the things, then I think we are making a progress in our career. This is what I feel.
Right, good point there, Rakesh. So Sachin, Gaurav, Chandra.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Sachin, I can hear.
So, I think there are two, 3 points that you talked about. First is the, the career progression, and then you also spoke about whether testing is going to be there or not as a profession.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, from career perspective, I mean, whether you are tester or not, uh, like what Rakesh said is learning is very important if you want to go to your next level. Progression means wherever you are, what is your advanced level, and if you want to go to there, what are the learnings, what are the knowledge, and other things required. But the point of this is a fear in many people. Even I uh, get a lot of message saying whether there is a future in testing, or if we are starting our career, why don't we straight away start doing development? If we have option, why not development? Why testing? Because testing somewhere. So the way I think, and this is what I tell them is, and this is natural. I mean, testing. So 2 days before, I was reading about this. If any verb have ing at the end, that means it is continuous.
Correct.
Okay. So, and then I realized testing as ing.
And so
So
as and so is engineering, you know.
exactly, but not the development. So you know what? But the programming have ing,
Yeah.
correct? So
Yeah.
that's how it's very simple if you want to understand that way, wordplay or something like that. But still, uh, it takes you energy to do things, especially if you are doing testing. And energy can neither be created nor be destroyed,
That's right.
but it can transfer from one form to another form.
Right.
Testing is not going anywhere. Testers are definitely going. if you will not transform yourself from A to B, which is now requirement of nowadays. You want People want more logical tester. People want someone who have good knowledge of automation, someone who can think out of the box. His way of investigating, exploring, and experimenting things is different. So if you're not transforming yourself to that part, you're actually not source of energy. And if you're
Sorry, Dabeer, I'm having to meet you. Yeah, go ahead, Sachin.
yeah. So so my idea of telling people that testing is going anywhere is the same way I tell them testing has not started by anyone. It was always there. It just recognized that it can be a separate capability, it can be a separate stream. But I think when I read about the Neanderthal and Erectus and those Ramapithecus, those species, there also they were doing testing.
Yeah, of course they
They were
were.
using two stone and then so yeah. I mean, it's not going, but for career progression, for being valuable always, for this struggle of existence that we are in, you have to always keep working on your learning and always try to go into the advanced level wherever you are right now.
Uh,
That's what I.
Absolutely, and you used a very good term, two good terms. Okay, one is fear, and the other one is struggle for existence. Now, I want to come back to that later, but let's hear the views from others. Uh, Gaurav, Chandra, Dabeer, what do you think about career progression in testing?
So
Gaurav,
I think the question, yeah, sorry, go.
please go ahead.
Okay, so I was saying, yeah, I think fear is the most important factor, and the information, that articles that keep on flowing and all. And if you see that we keep getting messages that I want to start as a fresher in manual testing, because it's easy to get started, right? So if I take the very basic example, like if there are two text boxes, you ask someone to develop it, even if it is HTML code, it will take some time for you to teach them. But if you ask them to teach to do testing, and that too, I think shallow testing is possible, but for deep testing, like when if you give it to James, he can take 4 hours to test that text box. So that thing people don't realize initially, as he also says, James, that shallow testing is easy to do and people can do it.
Yeah.
So considering that, people enter it and then they don't want to learn. So testing will never go anywhere, but yeah, the role can go. Maybe you have to do multiple things. For example, when I started my career, I was in telecom domain. So we have a separate DBT, system admin team. So we used to request them, please bring up the servers. They used to run some commands. And now we have that DevOps things where developers are doing that thing. And sometimes we also, like, they tell us, okay, so that portion, I think we have to be aware of the learnings and keep upgrading ourselves. Because if you think that you will be always in that scope, then people have a fear of it, that how, where the career will go. Because even Brijesh, you are there for 20 years, like you might have seen lot of changes when people, even like when I was there 10 years ago, when we started, every 2 months or I think 6 months we have a major release. Now releases are like every day or every week, or be it, like, I think most of the places at least 21 days or in a month things are going.
Yeah.
So we have to adjust with all those methodologies, those are coming, and we have to learn. So when you are learning, so things may keep on changing, and developers also have to learn a lot. I think we think that their job is easy, but they also have a lot of things that are there. So if you keep on learning and you are comfortable with the change, you will find the career path. It's not that even if you decide now for next 10 years, there is not a surety that things would be same or not. So the things is, yeah, like, you focus on the basics and things will automatically make your way. Like whether you like like if we talk about the exact in terms of the designation and all, like when I started, it was just regression. Then you get features where you lead the features, then you lead releases, then you come at the lead level, and then you can maybe even contribute at the organization level. You become architect, you become consultant. So these are the generally major, like tester, senior tester, lead, test lead, and maybe manager if you like that management part of it, or you want to be an architect. But if your testing basics are clear and you are adding value, then people would like to see you in any role, right? Even if you are manager and you are giving some very good inputs for testing and all, your career is growing, right? You are not, and we have directors also, and then you can have show to the people that the importance of testing by keeping it, even if some organization don't have testing roles, but they do have testing. So testing as an activity will never go away, because you can't release any product. For example, Windows 11 is coming, right? So Microsoft, we say, like, some of the teams don't have testing team, right? So they can't release it without testing. So somebody must be testing it. So if you have very good roles, you can be there. You may not be called a tester, but the testing activity is there, and yeah, it's not going anywhere, because you cannot release it. For example, if a guest comes to your home and you cook something, so you taste it out whether the salt and everything is good. So that's testing. And if it is there at that level, and so suppose you are releasing a product like WhatsApp, and which is used by billion of people, so testing part will always be there. And yeah, so there is no doubt about it.
Yeah. Well, Gaurav, thank you. Good example around Microsoft, the Microsoft Windows 11. I mean, from whatever reviews I have seen so far and what I've heard, seems to be really cool. Um, in fact, there is one feature that I really liked, which I believe should be soon adopted by Mac, because that's to do with minimizing of Windows of the windows that or the tabs that you are using when you are connected to an external monitor. What Windows 11 does is as soon as you disconnect the external monitor, it minimizes the windows that were open in the other monitor. But on Mac, it's a big issue. You have to still find and then minimize it yourself. Blah, blah. Anyways, that's a different subject. Well, good views. So for the rest of the people who have just joined, what we are talking about is a perspective on career progression with regards to testing. So it brings me to a very fundamental question: what does career mean according to you? Is it a progression in terms of designations? Is it money? Is it skills? Is it knowledge? Is it a combination of everything? What is it? And why is there an innate fear that keeps coming back to haunt testers, saying that testing has no future? So there is no career progression possible in testing. After a certain point, you might become a test engineer, a test lead, maybe not a test manager anymore. So why is that fear? And so those two open questions for others. What does career actually mean to you, and why is that fear still there? Anybody? I see Mahesh, I see Amuthan, I see Chandra, Dabeer, and somebody with the nickname CG. The CG, is it Capgemini?
Am I
Anyway,
audible?
yes, Dabeer, you are.
Okay, sure. So basically, test basically if we talk about testing, right? Testing is a vast field. Having said that, we cannot limit ourselves to for a particular tools or technology. Basically, if I talk about current market, right, and current demand from companies, they are demanding like multiple skills. For example, if you are a manual tester, they are also looking for automation skills, API testing skills in you. So it means if you were a manual tester before 3 years ago or 4 years ago, so in today's time you have to upgrade your skills, right? It is must if you want to progress in the testing field and if you want to make a better future for yourself. So it means you have to upgrade. You have to learn new technologies, and in fact, you have to keep learning like whatever tools and technologies are coming in the market. For example, if I take an example of AWS, right? Basically, for a tester, we don't have to be master in the AWS field, but we should have at least basic knowledge of AWS, like how AWS can be used in your day-to-day project. And there are like multiple tools from DevOps, like Jenkins, right? And GitHub. So it means we have to learn CI/CD techniques as well, because it's a trend in current market. Companies are demanding new skills, new techniques from testers. But if you limit yourself to only particular field, like for example, manual testing, it means after 1 year or 2 years, you cannot survive in IT industry, because market is changing, demand is changing from not from single company, but every company is demanding like a hybrid role, right? They
Mhm.
are looking for hybrid roles nowadays,
Mhm.
right? And second thing, I want to discuss about like SDLC model. Like if we talk about 5 years ago, so most of the companies were working with waterfall models, right? Iterative and incremental models. But nowadays, most of the companies are demanding for agile skills. And like there are few companies which I know, they are looking for hybrid models like agile plus waterfall. So it means being a tester, you have to upgrade yourself. You have to learn new things, new techniques, if you want to survive in testing field, in fact in IT field. And if you want to make your future better. So this is my point of view, being a tester.
Oh, that is good. Thank you for sharing that. What about others? Amutan, what do you
Hi
think?
Brajesh. Hi Brajesh. Hi
Happy for
everyone.
you.
Yeah. I stand always, with the current trend. So what Dabeer told may be little difficult to digest, but that's the truth thing, right? So
Correct.
I have met a lot of peoples. I do a lot of coaching, so I have met a lot of peoples. The only thing that I could see in them is they spend 8 years, 10 years in manual testing, and then uh, you know. They want to now make a switch. Obviously, if you go to any job portals for a 10 years experience, they obviously expect them to at least build the frameworks from scratch, do all the setup themselves, all the stuff, yeah, right? So
Yes.
because they have 10 years of experience, so people assume they should at least work for 5 years in automation. So people trying to justify their experience for that's 5 years, it's very very difficult.
Yep.
So it is very important that we understand what is the current situation. Yes, the current situation is, if you want to just survive as a manual tester, it's pretty hard. Maybe, yeah, you can survive in the current company, or you can find one or two companies that can pay you maybe 20% or 30% hike from the current job. Yes, if you have good reference or whatever, if you're very really talented with your manual testing skills, or you have a pretty good knowledge in the domain, maybe insurance or banking domain, you are one of the expertise, yeah, you get a job. That's absolutely there. But still, if you are not having very domain expertise or something of that sort, finding a job is very very difficult. That's true. So obviously we need to pick up skills, and then we need to scale ourselves according to the demand. So two
Right.
years back, I don't know anything about automation, right? So I learned everything after that. So if I can learn, so I never studied CS or IT in my college days. I haven't seen computer in my school days, so there is no relation for me to learn a programming language. So if I can do it, I think everyone can also do it. So it's just the laziness that is stopping them from doing it. I see a lot of people coming and asking, I want to learn automation, what should I do? You have to learn it. What should I tell? So you have to start practicing it, right? I can give you or chart out some plans, but they might not be relevant to you. So you have to find out what is the best time for you to study, which YouTuber you like, who's teaching strategy you like, you need to pick the right author, right content, and the right way to practice. There is nothing else. Only thing that is stopping you from scaling up is your laziness. Okay, you cannot tell any other reasons. So that's my idea, and that's how I see it.
I think you've hit the nail on its head, buddy. Uh, well, I quite agree with you that we are a species. We are driven by certain motivations. Okay, whether it's money or fear or something, and then what pegs us back is that lazy attitude. Okay, I mean, for 10 years, you're absolutely right. For 10 years, people spend time doing the same stuff, being in a comfort zone, not trying to learn anything new. And then suddenly they find themselves in a spot where the market is demanding something else and they are not up for it. Okay. And that's where, even then, despite the situation in the market, people don't realize and start picking up stuff. They are lazy. You've called it out loud. Thank you for doing that. I know that's your style, saying things the way they are. But I kind of concur with you on that. See, yeah, uh, but before I put across my thoughts, I thought, let's hear it
I
from.
would like to add, Brajesh.
Yeah, please, Chandra. That's what I was hoping for. That you and even Mahesh hasn't spoken. So
Yeah. So I'll start with the idea of having a career as test. End of the day, every person who is doing a job, actually doing a job, he wants three things basically: job satisfaction, some money so that he can go on trips and have something, and third is a reputation in society or in the organization. But when we say it is testing, the first thing it is start with, because you don't know coding, you are supposed to do testing. Second thing, and this is the basic idea. While I quite agree with what Amuthan said, but and I'm on the stage of 6 years of experience plus not doing anything and now starting the automation from last 2 3 months. I'm on that stage, so I quite agree with him. But if we take an example of a fresher from where we started, if a fresher is working in an organization for 1 or 2 years, what he will be doing is learning the concept and basically exploring the product. The idea, we say that testing is a performance where we try to learn about the product and give the information to the stakeholders so that they can understand that, okay, what is good and what is not. But if we take this context to a developer, he has a clear understanding, he has a clear curriculum, he has an idea of what to build, and at the side of testing it is not there. I mean, at least not until you get to know some good people around you, or you get to know that there is someone called James Batch and he has a RST kind of thing. I was not aware about it. I mean, until unless this test chat and the test type community I got to know. So my point is, it's not been the only the laziness of the person who is working. It's more of a lack of knowledge or lack of clear curriculum or understanding. There is no even if you, I was not aware that one can do a PhD in testing. I came to know about this from LinkedIn. Testing has always been on the back seat. It's never been on the front seat. We can talk about it that we have been working in this side, but as a career, one who has started, it was not really a first choice. Only if there are 10 people, there will be only 2 or 3 who can really say that, okay, they choose in testing. Most of the people were like, okay, they got into a situation they were not really knowing about, they learned and they evolved, that is fine. But have someone really started testing and with a thought that they really want to do testing? I don't think so. I mean, I can say that I'm proud of today, but 1 year back, it has always been that the developer or the tech lead, let's say example of having someone very good in domain skills of 10 years and compared to a person who is a 10 years architect in Java, obviously the Java guy is having an edge because he knows the technology. I can have a great understanding of domain, I can be biased as well, but end of the day the Java guy will get the extra edge. We can blame that I haven't learned Java from last 10 years, that is fine, but it was only me who was responsible. I don't think so. That is my view on it.
I thank you for expressing that. Thank you for that candid view, Chandra. Mahesh, what do you think?
Hi, Vijay. Hi, everybody.
Uh,
So, firstly, why do we need a job, right? Everybody would have different reasons. For somebody, it would be a pure need. For somebody, it would be a pure passion. For somebody, it would be a pure survival. So, after people get passed out from engineering, for some reason, their grades are not good. They're not good. They're not done good in engineering, but have done exceptionally good throughout their 10th and plus two also, right? So what do? I mean, somebody are very good in coding. They have passion for computers. They try to start up something. They drive to passion. And some people are not really smart enough. I mean, let's accept that fact, right? I mean, everybody are not equal. I mean, some are really good at maths, some are really good at science, some are really good at something else, right? So sometimes what happens is, when somebody does not find a job, right? I mean, the first thing everybody looks at IT is becoming a developer, right?
yeah,
That's the first. That's the first, and that's the benchmark. People have. I want to become a developer. I want to become a developer. And the moment you don't find a job as a developer, you start looking job as a tester. And people tell, you're not getting a job as a developer, go look out for a job as a tester. It's pretty easy, right? I mean, you just go there, you follow the steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and keep clicking, your job is done, right? I mean, that's the notion and perception people have, right? So yeah, career progression means a lot to different people. For me, it's all the title. I mean, you might make me a manager, you might make me a director tomorrow, you might make me a VP, but keeping title aside, I still have to contribute to the society. I still have to contribute to the community, right? If I'm not doing justice to my role, the title would not really make any sense for me, right? So as a tester, right? uh, there are ample opportunities. I mean, I can throw a lot of challenges that is unresolved today by the testing community, and testers feel that there is no career progression at all. Why do they feel so? Because they don't accept the challenge. They're not being challenged. They don't look at beyond certain point. I mean, that's the biggest problem that we have today, right? We don't question the status quo. I mean, somebody has defined that we have to follow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 step, and we just keep going with the same sequence, right? We don't question the status quo. Why do we have to do this way? Why not that way? How do we get it that way, right? And also there were good points made out that there should be kind of a charter where people can follow that, but the problem, my friend, is the world is so big, it's so huge, right? I mean, it's difficult to make a charter. I mean, there cannot be a unique charter where people can follow it, because there is Michael Bolton on one end, there is James Bach on another end, there is Naveen Bridges, Pradeep, and a lot of other people, right? I mean, how do you keep it, how do you tag them, and how do you keep with them up to date, right? It's very difficult. So that's up to us to take the owners and keep us updated, what's happening in the industry, what's going on, how do I keep myself relevant, what do I need to work upon, right? I mean, that onus definitely lies on us. And in my company, I know I still have testers who have been in the company for the last 25 years, who've been working in the same, testing designation role. Probably they might be doing a, principal testers or whatnot, but still they're doing great on the testing track, right? I mean, it's in India that, we all go beyond titles. I mean, oh, today I'm in lead, when do I become a manager, and how do I become a manager, right? I mean, that's where we are. But in the West, right, people don't care about titles. I mean, 30 years they're still as a senior business analyst. I mean, why is that? Because they drive, passion drives them. I mean, they are continuously constantly learning. I mean, they enjoy what they're doing, right? So that's what we are missing today. We are constantly running behind remuneration, constantly looking for packages. The other day, I saw Bridges had posted that somebody had like 12 offers. I mean, what is big deal to brag about, right? I mean, if I can, train my son for the next 6 months, on cracking the interviews and specific technology, he can get 20 offers in hand, right? I mean, that's no big deal. But what is big deal is what is that you're contributing back to the testing community? What is that you're given to the testing? How are you actually helping to solve the problem, right? So, it's world is very big in the testing community, right from functional testing, automation testing, performance testing, security testing, accessibility testing, usability testing, testing with AI, ML, the list can go on and on. I mean, even a lifetime would not be sufficient to complete, the learnings that anybody can define under testing. So for people who are complaining, I would, I would tell, uh, take a stock of the situation, take a stock of yourself. Why are you complaining? What are you complaining about? That's absolutely due to the lack of your own knowledge. That's absolutely because you're not aware of what is going on in the community and the industry, and that's absolutely because of your pure egoism, right? So, I mean, I can go on and on. This topic is extremely, interesting and big, but those would be my quick thoughts.
Well, thank you, Mahesh, for that. For that, I think you made some very good points. I also see Parish on the call. Parish, your thoughts on careers in testing and progression, and what does it mean?
Well, I think I was not able to listen completely what Chandra and Mahesh had said. But my views are, Brijesh, that the world is open to us, right? What is
Yeah,
stopping us? So, I mean, career progression or career growth, whatever it is, the whole world is open to us. Testing, non-testing, AI, ML, BA, Scrum Master, PO, everything is open to us. And I would say that the benefit is that we as testers are better placed than anybody else to play these multiple roles. So I think we have an edge there. That's what my point is.
yeah. Thank you for that quick one, Parish. Good to see you, Neha. Neha just joined. Neha, what we are talking about is career progression as testers. What are and we're still collecting initial thoughts. So, what are your thoughts? What do you think? Do testers have a
Well,
career? Do they not? What are the challenges? What do you think?
of course they have. They have been through all these years, and of course they're going to be there.
Yeah. Is it easy? Is it difficult? What do you think?
Uh, Depends.
Okay. Well, okay. Since you've just joined, I wouldn't want to puzzle you more. Well, okay. So thing is, the thing is, some of you have already made the comment. A career. When we talk about career, a lot of us tie it to certain things like, okay, uh, there is a tendency to tie it to certain designations. There is a tendency to tie it to certain pay grade, and that's how we start looking at career. And if we look at progression, there is a there. So when I was a test lead, I had about 9-10 years of experience already, and the questions that I used to get is, "Oh, you still not a manager?" That's how the society looks at it, and that's what makes people think of titles being the benchmark for career. But the fact is, careers is uh, career is a big term. It's obviously a combination of the jobs that you do. You can do multiple jobs, a lot of things in your career, and it has got to do with your passion, with your aspirations, a lot, and that will define the path that you choose for your career, is what I personally feel. And yes, as testers, initially, when 20 years ago, I mean, uh, when I started my career, we were still trying to resolve the Y2K problem. That's when I started, and at that time, when we spoke about testing, we had a clear kind of a roadmap. Like, okay, you are a test engineer, then you become a senior test engineer, a test lead, maybe a senior test lead, then you become a test manager, and then go further up. But now things have changed, obviously, because lot has evolved in the industry. There are multiple things that you can do. There are a lot of choices that you have. Parish was absolutely right. Who is stopping us? And even Mahesh, the kind of questions that people ask, the kind of problems that we are trying to solve, and are we giving it back to the community, is a question that a lot of us do not answer. Okay, yesterday I was again reading a post where there is this tester who went for an interview, and this post came from one of the HRs, strangely, because they also have this problem of offer shopping. He mentioned clearly that the guy came for an interview, and he the moment the discussion started, this candidate, he said, okay, you know what, I have an offer of 32 lakhs. If you are able, if you want to give me 34 lakhs, then I think we can proceed with the discussion. So that's the kind of attitude that people have started developing, and they want to show that as a benchmark for their career progression. Look at how my salary has doubled, tripled, or in some certain cases become more like 400% plus than what I was drawing. It is really simply amazing how people have narrowed it down to just designations or salaries. Well, there is a lot more to do. There are a lot many challenges to solve, and there are a lot of things that you can do as a tester. There is, and obviously that needs a lot of effort, that needs a lot of awareness, that needs a lot of uh, knowledge, that needs you to get out of your comfort zone. uh, Stop being lazy, start being more active, start learning. There is when it comes to resources, there is an abundance of resources, but people are still struggling, and still people keep asking questions. Does testing have a future? But obviously testing has a future, and like Sachin said in his opening comment, anything that ends with ing in English is something that is continuous. He's absolutely right. Present.
Brijesh, I
Yeah,
have
Chandra.
a I have a question
Mhm.
for you or anyone here in the group.
Please.
As you said, the 32 or 34 example. Let's say two freshers. One is have just completed graduation, and he has been working for say 1 year as a BA in some startup, some XYZ startup, and he is really good. And there is another who just came out from organization, and he was placed in Flipkart, and he has worked there for 1.5 years. Now on a table, both resumes are put for HR to do the initial screening. This is the first thought that the HR will decide. Obviously the guy who has the Flipkart logo, he is selected. I mean, 50% chance that he has been selected. There is a great chance that he has the ability, and since he is in Flipkart, he might be well versed. But the guy who is in the startup almost lost the battle 50%. So the world about money, and the brand, we cannot deny that, can we?
That's a good question. Well, I have my thoughts, but anybody else wants to take that?
Yeah, yeah, Brijesh. Actually, I got a phone call, so went out. So I just listened to your conversation that you are telling. Everything is about money. It's more beyond that, but it's just a personal preference, right? Like you told, if someone is asking me, I would say money, right? Because no, maybe 2 years back I would definitely say money, but now maybe I think about my work-life balance. See, our demands changes every day, so
Correct.
maybe 2 years back, what I need, may I I have it now, so I don't require that anymore. So it keeps changing, right? So at the end of the day, we cannot blame someone just because they are running behind money, because that's their life. They need money. We don't know what their they are going through in their personal life. So it's very, very bad that we, judge people whether they are running, on, for money, right? So because see, 3 years back when I tried to search for a job, okay, people conduct 4 to 6 rounds of interview, right? Those days, those were, there were no corona days. I need to go to their office, I need to apply leave in my current office, I need to tell lie to my manager, I need to go to their office. Okay, it will be in some part of the Chennai, so I need to at least travel 60 kilometers in bike and have heavy traffic, attend their interview. After 4 rounds of interview, they will tell, okay, we will give you 10% more hike. Okay, so company is not always fair, right? So it's okay if if employees are running behind money, that's okay, that's their wish, that's right. So if a candidate is telling, okay, I already have an offer with 10 lakhs, okay, if you're, if you want to conduct an interview with me, you know at least I'm expecting 14 lakhs, then I can come and attend the interview process, because I waste their time, I waste my time in attending the interview, right? So it's obviously, I know, it's my personal feeling that, if someone is telling, okay, before that, I already have an offer with 10 lakhs, I would be okay to attend an interview for 14 lakhs. Okay, that's absolutely fine. They are saving both the interviews time as well as their time. Okay, that is completely fine according to me. And please don't judge people if they are running behind money, because everyone runs for money, right? So not everyone do the social justice. So we all have a family to feed, and they all have their personal preferences. Maybe things may change. 2 years back I ran beyond money, now I run beyond, behind some, something, right? So our personal preferences changes, but what I wanted to say is, please don't judge people if they are running behind money. It's just their personal preference.
Oh, absolutely agreed, Amutan, on that point. The point that I was trying to make there is, career progression has been limited only to designations and money, is the point that I made. Okay,
But
people's
one quick,
needs, people's needs, people's choices. I don't question that. Okay, somebody needs money. Somebody needs money. That's it. I understand that. Okay, and yeah, sorry, Mahesh, you were saying something.
no, to add to that, right? Money is definitely important. I mean,
Yes.
if somebody, we are, we are all not, I mean, nobody is a saint here, right? I mean, we all need money. Let's
Yes.
agree to that.
Absolutely.
Money is very important. But I can give out of 10 instances I've seen where 8 instances, people who have gone beyond money, they have ruined their career, right? So that's the story that we have to tell to our juniors and fellow people. You know, when money is going to be important, when money is not going to be important, how do you deal with the money, right? Uh, I mean, that again, that's a very, very interesting and big topic if you're going to be talking about money. I don't know if how many of you have read the book called The Rich Dad and the Poor Dad,
I have.
where where if you keep running behind money, you will always be in the liability. I mean, your liability will never end, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
People who so that's the story we have to tell. See,
No,
bottom line, money is important, but we have to let these stories resonate. We have to let people be aware of this story, so that they make the concise decision on during their career progression. And one quick another quick comment I'll make on Chandra's question. So
Mhm.
Chandra, you made a point that obviously companies would pick up somebody who is working in Flipkart versus an unknown company, right? I mean, we also do the same thing, right? When you have 2 job openings, one is between Microsoft and one more is like Bata, right? We would obviously pick up Microsoft, right? I mean, when we are being so selfish, why should companies not be selfish? I mean, selfish for their own needs, right? I mean, it's part of the bigger game, right? So we cannot help that. So if you want to secure a job in XYZ company, and if you are working somewhere today, you have to work through that. You have to work to the ladder to make that up, right? If you want to join Microsoft, and just because you are working in a startup company doesn't mean that Microsoft is going to reject you. But the odds of you getting selected purely on the company name might happen. But it's up to you. I mean, you have to, work to the ladder to, join some other company or look at ways how you could, impress Microsoft to hire you. I mean, for example, you could contribute to the open platform. I mean, you could build your reputation such a way that, Microsoft does not look at your company where you're working when they look at the resume. Rather, they look at your name. Your name should be talking, not your company's name, right?
Correct. 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 Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
and also and also to add to it, like it will not always happen, because as Srinivas was also telling in one of the last meetups, where he told that initially he used to look at some degrees and all. Like when we look at the resume, we have a bias that okay, this guy is from NIT or such. So even in big companies, managers are given all those trainings while doing the hiring and all, that you need not to have those biases based on somebody's belonging to there or not. So it will not always be the case that recruitment decision would be biased based on these things, because everybody has their own bias. Like some people think that okay, if I'm hiring a girl, she might not stay for longer time, might not work on weekends and all. So companies are becoming better and better where they are looking at these aspects as well, so that when recruiters are doing the recruitment, they don't have this bias in their mind. That is, if somebody is from Flipkart or any XYZ company, so you have to keep all those biases aside. So this will also change maybe in more companies as well, but it's not there at all the places.
Yeah, Parish, want to add something?
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say that we are touching so many topics together now, from career to salary to ethics, to jobs and to biases and so on. So I would like to comment on a couple of things. First, I totally agree with you, Brajesh. Yeah, career is not equal to your job title or your job salary. Your career is far, far more than that. It is a 20 years of planning. It's a goal of 20 years what you have to decide. Now, having said that, so that with that particular thing in mind, salary becomes a very important part in that
Yes.
case, right? I mean, if I want to retire at years of 20 years of experience or 45 years of age, right? I need to hold up certain amount of money to take
Yep.
care of my retirement, my children,
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
And in that case, offer shopping or job shopping is not a crime. Organizations have their own work ethics. People have their own work ethics, and it's a personal choice. I think Amutam was saying that, and I completely agree with that. Now, but the problem is that when you tell or inform on the last day, that is the wrong work ethic.
Yes.
Having many offers is good. I mean, you should get the best rate for you, right? As an organization, as a company, I want to give the lowest rate. As an employee, I want to get the best rate. So it is an open market. We both should strive for the balance, but we should have certain this much ethics that we tell at the right time that okay, I would not be able to join, or I am pursuing other offers also. So I mean, and last 5 6 months, I have hired around 60 people. So I can say that no, it has been a problem when on the joining day we are trying to reach somebody and people say, "Oh, no, we are not joining." It becomes a big problem. But there have been also people who have informed well in advance. If they have a notice period of 2 months, 1 month afterward, that because of certain things we are not able to join. Either we have got a counter offer from the same company, or we are pursuing some other offer. So no, we appreciate that. So that is not a big problem. Now, so with that, I think today's topic is about career progression. I would say that no, we have to look at far bigger picture in our career. Now, if I'm a tester today, do I actually want to become a people manager going forward? Would I still want to continue in my individual contribution role? I want to take a technical domain, and I think many organizations also have to do a lot of work. We just finished a career framework for our organization where we said that why we only have directors and general managers for people managers. Why not we have an equivalent level for individual contributors, right? So we had to create those roles and those job descriptions and designations for IC roles as well. People who want to remain in non-people management kind of things. So we have to think of these things. We have to think that am I happy with my current organization? Where do I want to work, right? We do not think about that. Either we keep on cribbing about our current organization, or we are happy with the current place without working too much. I have couple of friends who hardly do 3 hours of work, and they say Harish, at this age, at this point of career, we do not want to over stress. I'm getting my salary at the every month end. I'm fine with that, right? So we often have debate on that also, how good that is, right? And now one thing I forgot to mention about this money holding and job holding is that whatever time we have, let's get that done. Okay, let's get the money, because we never know when the layoffs will start. When we lay off people, we do not give much notice to people. We just tell them one day, from tomorrow you do not have to come, or from today you have to leave, right? So it is all right to have that money. uh, yes, I mean, I think these were some of the thoughts coming to my mind when I was listening to all other fellow speakers.
Oh, thank you, Parish, for clarifying that. And I agree with you with the perspective of having some money in hand. I'll give you my personal example. When I was, coming to the Netherlands, so it was a big decision for me because I was working as a test manager in an organization. They were paying me really well. I had an offer as a VP in another company, which was plus 15 lakhs of salary what I was getting at that time. So it was hard to decline that kind of an offer. And yet I had to make a choice whether I want to come to the Netherlands and look for a job here, because I did not have a job, which meant that I had to leave what I had and I had to come. And at that time, the money that I had saved, you know, I was sure that okay, that money is going to help me carry through the next 2 years without even looking for a job. And so with that kind of a saving, I was able to make that decision, and I was able to say, okay, now it's time to reprioritize. It's time for me to be with my family, with my wife, and we can look for a job and do that. So obviously having money in hand is important. So money is important, not denying that. You are absolutely right that in a situation where employers look to offer the least rate, employees do have the right to seek the best rate. So uh, people go for offer shopping. Yeah, offer shopping is okay, but as long as you are keeping people informed that okay, you are having offers and you want to do that, it's entirely the decision of the companies whether they want to give opportunities to such candidates. The post that I was talking about yesterday, that I read yesterday, when the candidate said that I have so much offer, he his current salary was 15 lakhs, and he was holding an offer of 32 lakhs, and he was expecting that the company would pay him 34 lakhs. So when the HR director heard this, he simply congratulated him on the 32 lakhs offer, and he said, please take that up, which meant that they rejected him. But then this is entirely the choice of the employer, whether you want to go ahead and contribute to that offer shopping experience that the candidate is having by offering him more salary, or you want to turn him down because you know there is some limit to which you can pay, plus certain work ethic constraints that you may have. So it is entirely a choice, and I agree with it. But the point that I was trying to make in my earlier comment was the fact that when we talk about career, it is much more than a designation or salary. We have to look at the span, the entire entire journey that we have had from the time we started with our first job till the time probably we retire. A lot of people work post retirement too. Okay, and that is what your career is. And it is not, in my opinion, even for testers, it is not limited, or it is not going to end anytime soon. There is a lot of opportunity. There are a lot of diverse things that you can do. There is no end. There is no stopping. Parish, in your previous comment, you said there's nobody stopping you from switching on to over to a role as a business analyst, or picking up one of the roles within the agile world. Or now you could learn DevOps and go in that direction. But the fundamental fact is that you have to get out of your comfort zone, and like Amutan was saying, learn something new, something different, something that makes you different and unique. And that's where I want to come to Chandra's question. Okay, you spoke about two CVs, one had the Flipkart logo, but what about the other person? If that other person had a skill that was unique, okay, and which would benefit the company, the Flipkart logo would not work there. And that is something that you need to focus on as a tester. How do you how do you discover that unique selling point of yours? What is it that you are learning today? A lot of people are investing time in automation, trying to learn. You talk about Selenium testers. There are so many of them in the market. How do you pick and choose? There are people who are doing a lot of great stuff. You look at their CVs, they highlight their Git repositories in their CVs and show that, okay, we've done all these cool things. We are contributing uh, to different communities. We are helping, develop add-ons and stuff like that. That is something that makes you separate. Okay, and that's the point that I was trying to make. That you have to. There's no choice. You have to get out of the comfort zone, read up, practice. If somebody is saying, I want to learn automation, the only solution to that is go out and learn, go out and practice. It does not come like, okay, you snap a finger and then you are an automation expert. It doesn't happen. If you look at the effort that is being put by the teachers who are trying to teach, Mukesh Otwani has been doing it for almost 7 years now. He's been trying to teach. Okay. Naveen has been doing it for more than 3 years now. Amuthan has started his journey. We also know Chandan has started. So people are trying to learn and help others learn. Okay, and trying to learn new things, do new things. And this little bit that Amuthan is trying to do, being in a current job, is trying to build a YouTube channel, have excellent content there, helping people learn. That is also a part of his career journey. And that is something that people need to understand, that you cannot separate the activity saying, oh, this is what I do at work or I get paid for, and this is something that the other part is something that, okay, I started out of my passion. I want to teach people, I want to help people, I want to coach people, and that's why I started. So that's not career. That's also a part of your career journey. And that's something that I wanted to mention. That career.
And with just one point here.
Yeah, please,
Sorry,
Rakesh.
sorry, please continue.
No, please go
So
ahead. Go ahead.
when we say that people may get an brand advantage, but we have to understand that they have earned it, right? If me and my friend has started in the same year, he cracked, for example, Google, and now after some time, and I was working in some service-based company, and after some time I say, oh, we started in the same year, right? But he will get an advantage because he has a brand name. But man, that person earned it, right? So
Absolutely. But
if that person gets an advantage, I think because of the hard work they have put in, right? We can't complain on that.
that is the key, that is the key. Because of the hard work that they have put in, they have tried something different which would qualify them to be unique
Exactly.
enough to be chosen for Google. Compared to
Exactly.
me, I was not chosen because I did not have that unique skill, but my friend got chosen because he had something unique. Okay, and that is what we are talking about. Okay, within the community, we have one classic example, Soumya Mukherjee. Okay, he's an awesome tester. Okay, he's tried a lot of things. He has also played a stint as an entrepreneur, but he loves testing. He loves experimenting with things. He has love for code. He learns so many things, and today he's working with Apple because Apple was able to recognize that he has that skill that separates him from the rest of the lot, and that's why picking him for a job to be done was easy. And again, if you look at the title, if you just go by the title of what he has, you may see him up for somebody who's been an erstwhile entrepreneur, for somebody who's been in positions like senior VP. The current title is a drop, but Actually, it is not. It is a part of his career, and it is a part of his personal choice. Okay, so this is one example that comes to my mind, and that's why I thought
And
I
if
want to
in
share
the
it.
later part of his career, if he gets that Apple advantage, right? What's wrong in that? He earned it.
Absolutely, yes, 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 absolutely true. So when people talk about careers, it is my sincere, request to people: don't just limit it to certain things. Okay, don't say, okay, I want to retire as a senior vice president. Doesn't matter. Okay, doesn't matter. Yeah, the society might say, oh wow, senior VP. But is that what you're looking for? Is that the ultimate happiness that you have? Or somebody who, okay, he's a billionaire. Fine, it looks nice. But does it actually solve all the problems? Life is
But I
much
think
more than that.
I think Chandra's point is more on the brand name in
Yeah.
one's career and resume.
Yeah.
Yeah, uh, brand name are definitely important. It's not that they are important, but after certain point of time, right? Brand names are just like your degree. They're just like your college,
Correct.
like the debate we have IIT versus somebody else, right? And the brand name would become very irrelevant at certain point of time. If brand name was so important, Amazon would not have existed, Apple would not have existed, Microsoft would not have existed, right? I mean, everybody have to branch out and carve a name for themselves, build something so that they outrun the existing brand name, right? I mean, that's how people have to look at, and brand name should not be looked at a way to just purely earn money.
That is true. Well, Harshit has joined us. Harshit, what do you think of careers and brands and things like that? How do you see your career?
Yeah, hi Bridges. So I see. Okay, this is the first time I'm speaking.
No, that's okay. Be comfortable, relax. It's a group
Yeah,
of friends talking. Nothing, no, not a big deal.
yeah. So regarding the brands, I don't think brands matter so much. As per your knowledge, if you have good knowledge, any company, any organization you join, it would be good. You would be part of it. Like you can own that thing. Because I try sometime, like say people talk about, okay, I work as that in a Google, in a Microsoft, everyone cannot work at that space. But if you have that knowledge, you can impart into your current organization also, and you can grow into that space. I believe that brand doesn't matter much. No doubt, working in that organization helps you grow, but I'm not sure. Regarding career, I just started my career. It's just 4 years into testing domain for me. So I just started it out. So I'm just looking out for different things, learning many things from the TTC channel from you. Naveen, I just started watching Amuthan videos also. Like he's doing a great, I would say, fantastic job where he's teaching people how to use Java 8 and all that thing. So I'm just learning as of now everything. So my career, I'm just trying to grow into that space.
That is good motivation to have, right? Like
Yeah,
people doing such cool stuff. I mean, you talk about, on one end of the spectrum, you talk about people like James who have developed an entire test methodology and are trying to teach people that. On the other
right.
spectrum, you have people who are trying to do some cool stuff with certain tools and technology, like Naveen, you mentioned Amuthan. Guys are doing such great stuff, and that is inspiring. That is what is doing what really helps us grow, and again, coming back, this is what career progression is about, in my opinion. I mean, it's not limited to certain things that you do as a part of your job and you're done, right? So it's much more than that. Yeah, Parish, I see you unmuted. Your thoughts?
Right. Yeah. Oh, yes, yes, something on the brands which
Yeah.
we're talking about. So I think I agree with Harshil that brands, I mean, it's a personal choice, right? If I am so impressed with Apple and their technology, I may want to work with them, or I may not want to work with them, right? So it's a personal choice about brands, whatever brands are there. Now, I want to share one story. This is about a guy who got me interested into actually the technology part of it. So the name is Daud Sangameshwari. I'm not sure how many of you have heard. So he has been a class 12 past person who got interest in Unix and Perl and Linux. He started training at Seed Infotech. Seed Infotech in Pune. He started training. He trained for a few years there. Capgemini hired him as an expert on demand. Okay, so any project across the organization would take him and get his help. So he worked with Capgemini with us also for some time, and then he got an Apple offer from Google. So he joined Google. He did not like the work culture there. It was not suiting his energy levels and whatever he knew and things like that. He joined Yahoo after 4 or 5 months. He did not even like there, right? And then he left that place also. And then he started his own organization in Mangalore, I guess. And he is building that company now very big. So, no, see, this is what your career is. You have something in your mind and you start doing that. So brands may come or may not come. Uh, he could have stayed at Google or Yahoo for long also, but he did not choose to. So no, that tells me that that story is a very powerful symbolism for me that this is how your career should look like. You do what you want to do, given your current skills, given what you want to achieve in your life. That is what real career is.
Absolutely. Well, for people, can you repeat the name once again, Parish?
Daud Sangameshwari, Dawood, Sangameshwari. He is from Pune. I think right now in Bangalore or Mangalore.
Mangalore is what I also believe. Well, but that's a really powerful story. Thank you for sharing that, Parish. Uh, so yes, absolutely. You should be doing what you like doing, and then should try and excel in that bit. Make yourself so good that people look at you and say, okay, you know what, I want to work with this guy, rather than you jumping for or applying for jobs. Let the companies come after you. There are situations like that happen, and it is always good if you are in that situation where companies would say, oh, you know what, would you like to work for us? So raise your level to that standard, and then see what difference it makes. Well, any other thoughts that anybody else has? Sachin, you haven't spoken since the beginning. So, Sachin, are you there on the call, or you just muted? And Gaurav, Dabeer?
I'm here.
Yeah, Sachin. Okay.
I'm here throughout the call. Actually, a lot of important points that sometimes we think in same direction. I don't know why I was thinking that I am an employee and I want to be employee till that point when Mahesh started with why you need job, why
Right.
job actually. So yeah, and then Parish added to uh, the the actual story of actually I was typing on LinkedIn to see this person now. Yeah, so I mean there are different perspective depend upon what level and what is your small world where you are. So I don't know. I mean, if you ask me honestly, brands are important to. Uh, I mean, brands are important to someone who is there in a society where people scale your capability on basis of if somebody is working for Microsoft and if somebody is working for XYZ, that at first sight it gives a small glimpse of your capacity. or capability that okay, this is this guy. You take your time, you take some minutes to tell them okay what is actually you are and how you are more feel more capable of doing things and why you're not doing that with other people. That is also correct at some point, but uh, I feel is and I was learning about the brands and all in my MBA course that I'm doing. So I feel brands are important for a human being, and that's why people struggle to become a brand. I'm not saying brand as a company, but brand as an individuality. Your reputation is important, that makes your brand. And like many people say, reputation is equals to money. So if you are reputed enough to working for a big people, or you're yourself as a big person, that will convert into money, and everybody is working for money and everyone want to make it more. Why not? If not joining to a big brand, why not be a brand? And if you cannot be a brand, at least join somewhere or something where you can show or feel proud of being connected to some brand, some people, some company, some vision, which is which has already reputation in people, in the society. I think that encourages you, that have that you will have a confidence to face people, to entertain your audience, to gather at least your audience. Why somebody will listen to someone who is not working in Microsoft or Apple, and why somebody will lose the chance of someone to listen who is working in Apple and sharing his story. So different perspective, but it also have maybe 10-20% of chances. But this is what honestly I was feeling, that brands are important at some level. I don't know when I'll go to that level wherein I'll feel like brands are not important to me. Currently, at my level, for me, I think it's good to struggle to go and join those brands, or be a brand where people will start referring you as a standard, or as a choice, or as a you know mm, a top priority of something else. That's what I believe. I don't know if I sounded.
Well, personally, I would prefer Sachin Sharma, the brand, over Sachin Sharma getting hired by a brand.
Of course, I mean that's that is the Nirvana state, I'll say, wherein you people will refer your name as a brand. Still, I think it always takes Steve Jobs as a second place and Apple first. People do not call Steve Jobs as a brand at very first sentence. They should, and it's but still they start talking of Apple and comes to the level of Steve Jobs. I have seen that. Um, Again, they should start talking about Bill Gates and then come to Microsoft. They start talking about Mark Zuckerberg and then come to Facebook. But the community, or the product is the first place, and then it comes to the creator, and then it's come to someone who has given his sweat, blood, flesh for making it. That's how the sociology is. But even I want to be a brand as a Sachin Sharma and not to the company. But aspirations and expectations and specification and implementation, everything has a different meaning and different.
Well, you will definitely learn more about it in your MBA course. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So that was the same
So,
thing. That was,
just out of curiosity, Sachin, what's the specialization that you're doing as a part of your
uh,
MBA?
so to be honest, I am not pursuing that MBA. It's my family member, and I was reading that
Okay.
stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
so we have that books, all 19 books, and I was reading out of curiosity.
Okay.
Network communications, and then this brand strategy and consumer behavior. So these 2-3 things I am curious to read. So I was reading it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But another feedback, another way to look at this, right? It might also be important to look at why some people believe so much in building their reputation, building their brand, versus why somebody would downplay. I've seen a lot of people, who are very knowledgeable, who are extremely talented, but they downplay both their reputation and brand, right? So there are a lot of examples, and also brand or reputation would not happen in one single day. I mean, it's a
Right.
phased approach, right? It's a very very
Yeah.
long term goal.
Yeah.
So that might be an interesting brainstorming that we can have. Why somebody would downplay, why somebody is so serious about reputation and brand.
So, what is your take on it, Mahesh? Why would somebody downplay it?
Uh, that's very difficult to answer, Brijesh. I mean, probably, some people don't really care about, becoming a brand. I mean, they absolutely don't want, people to recognize them, or, people to really talk about them, right? I mean, for some people, it's all about, people have to instantly recognize them. Oh, XYZ person, oh, he's doing that, oh, he's doing this, right? I mean, some people want that attention. I mean, a lot of people want that attention, but some people don't care about attention. I mean, they do the work, they keep it for themselves. I mean, all they care about, how that is helpful for the community, or bigger society. That's what it matters, for some of the people. I mean, they absolutely downplay it. It could be like somebody who is running an NGO, right? I mean, they might have millions of dollars, but still, they try to help in such a way that you do some help, but absolutely nobody else should be knowing about it. I mean, not even your other hand, right? I mean, that's the saying. People downplay it. Probably there could be a lot of other reason, but that's an interesting topic to really debate.
Well,
I just,
funnily enough, I know people from both categories within the test chat community. There are people with whom I've had discussions on this subject, and some people are like, you know what, I don't care about being a brand, or and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Okay, so so yeah, that'll
so
be a good fun conversation to have. Maybe one of the future meetups we can talk about it.
I think talking about the brands, what Mahesh was saying, and even I also realized. I mean, there was Swami Vivekanand who was extremely talented person, but never presented himself as a brand. But there is this another guy, not related to the same field. He just took one or two Coke bottle from his left hand to right hand, 2 seconds, and the entire economy of that particular brand by this another brand has went where we all know. So that's the importance of brand at current world.
Thanks, Rakesh.
Vivekanand is a different world, a different personality. Today it's Ronaldo, and that impact a lot, a majority of this planet, and that we
Well,
have seen like in 1 week back.
well. We don't realize this, but in its true essence, Swami Vivekananda is himself a big brand. So
He never wanted to be. He don't want it. I
he
mean, when
never,
you read it,
of course, he
yes.
never wanted to be. Of course, he never wanted to be. But if you spend a few months reading his stuff, I was back in the day when I was in Bangalore. Uh,
Mhm.
I spent quite a lot of time. In fact, 4 or 5 years studying Swami Vivekananda and
Yeah.
his life. I mean, Ramakrishna Paramamsa and Swami Vivekananda. So that has had a big impact on who I am today. But
That's
that's
amazing personality. Yeah.
yeah.
But
So,
that's the
anyways,
difference. I wanted to show you the difference between the
anyways,
people
those
who
are
doesn't
those are
care
great
about.
examples. I really find it fun to read about such people. Well, we've had a very good conversation, I would say. So you know, everybody was able to everybody was able to share their thoughts quite well. I think we have some sense of direction that certain things we need. We have at least had an understanding that a career progression is much more than just a particular designation or a particular salary. Yes, salary, money, it plays an important part in our life. It is a matter of personal choice. If you, at a particular point, if you want more salary, then you can go for it. I'm just trying to summarize the points that people have raised. Uh, you know, we talk about a lot of things. We see value in brands. We have absolute fun in uh, in learning and make ourselves as a brand. That's also another perspective. uh, there is a good side, there is a not so good side in a lot of things that we do, that we pick and choose. So overall, great discussion to have. Before everybody just drops off, let's just can we take a picture, is what I was hoping for. Can
And just to add to that points, like what
please
Sachin said,
please
so
go
I would agree with some part of it and disagree with the other part. So the disagreement part would be, I think it's the person first always. For example, I would consider Pradeep or learn from it instead of considering Mulya, because Mulya is what because of Pradeep. Similarly, like Reliance is what because of Mukesh Ambani. So those are the people maybe you would look for. If those people go away, maybe the brand might be there, but that leadership or those things people would generally miss. And for the other part, for example, yeah, I think brand obsession, brands are good, but brands obsession should not be there. Because I remember I was working in my previous organization, which is and also like to agree with the Sachin's point, that when people add value, you become yourself a brand. For example, I know all of you. I don't know the companies of all of you people, but your thoughts and your great contribution towards testing matters a lot. So and for the company I was working on, it was having the building was having 20 floors, and all floors are having at least 4 or 5 companies. So you consider that building itself in Gurgaon, it's a 10C, a round building which is having. So you don't know that which all are the companies are there. At least 80 companies are there in that single building, and there were 10 buildings like that. And there are smaller companies and people are working out there, and they are very very good. For example, ThoughtWorks, it has become, if you go to office, there is like they don't have many people. And there are other companies also, so people are doing very good. They are not in brands, but they are adding value, and they're doing a great job.
That is true. So can we have a moment where we can take a picture?
Just give me 1 minute.
Chandra, Dabeer. Dabeer?
For some reason, can't switch on the camera on my phone. Just give me 1 minute, please.
Yeah. You should have the permission to share your video. Yesterday we had this problem with Shyam not being able to turn his camera on, and then I had to troubleshoot Zoom. Okay, try and see what was causing the problem, and I was like, one silly setting which I had not enabled before the call. So but that was a new learning. It's a nice background you have, Dabeer. I like it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Mahesh. Okay. Cool. Awesome. And say cheese. All right. Thank you. That was fun. Well, Mahesh just cloned himself and then came in for the picture. That was really nice. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining this Sunday. We will have another interesting conversation next week. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you all. Take care.
Thanks.
Yes.
Good.
Have
Bye.
a great time.